Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, and in this video I'm showing you everything that's been added, changed and fixed in Minecraft Snapshot 25w14craftmine. Not Minecraft, no, CraftMine. This is the new snapshot for Minecraft and it's an insanely massive snapshot. I've never seen a snapshot this big, so I think we should just get into it. This is the new main menu, looks very Matrix, I love it. And if you go in here, you can see that you won't be able to go into your old worlds. You have to create a new world. Also, this video is a live stream at the same time, so that's why there's no editing in this video. But if you still like this video, then please make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more Minecraft update videos in the future. So in here, we'll just name this whatever. So CraftMine, for example. And you will notice you can only put it to survival or hardcore mode. So for now, we'll put it in survival mode and we'll go into the world. You will always spawn in this area over here in this snapshot, so you no longer have your normal world. You just have this as your starting point. Now don't worry, you can't fall off. There's actually a floor here. It's just invisible. But as you can see, there is this stone platform here. There's also two doors, which if you click on them, says doors yearn for the keys, which is probably a reference to something of yearning for the mines. And in the middle here is this mysterious block that looks a bit like a Skulk Shrieker, but then green. Over here is the memory lane, which has just a whole bunch of purple Skulk Shriekers. But these are not really useful for now. What you'll notice first is this one, and if you right click on it, you'll get this inventory right over here. It looks very crazy, but let me explain. So here you craft your mine that you go into. So as you can see, the ingredients for the mine currently are moo and this one, sheep. So we have sheep and cows for our mine. And you can add one item yourself. So you can add, for example, a plains biome, or pigs, or a chicken, or frogs, or a base rock type stone. Let's say we want to add frogs, you can do that. And then this is the mine you can go into. Then on the right here, there are more types of things you can add in the future. So these you can discover. And it also says some hints here for how to get these new items. So these are the same things as the ones over here that you can place in this slot. So for example, if you want to get the floating items over here, it says win a mine. That means you need to finish one of the mines, then you can get this specific mine ingredient. But how do we do that? Well, we just click on the middle to create the mine. And this adds this globe particle thing to your Skulk Shrieker here. And now if you right click on it, it says entering mine and it will go there in 9 seconds and the text enlarges, enlarges, enlarges and gives this ominous sound. And then after a while you get a loading screen and you spawn into a world. Now here you will notice something odd because if you open your inventory, it looks very different from normal. And that is because there's just your hotbar and everything else is pretty much blocked out. You do have your offhand slot here. And there's this new icon up here, player unlocks. This is the entire thing for this snapshot. So you can use XP levels and spend them here to unlock parts of the game. So for example, you can get off to a flying start here. And you can get extra jumps here. For example, if you have 20 levels, you can gain a new jump. You can get a compass, for example. You can get all kinds of different things. And here, for example, you can start crafting. Because currently you can't craft anything. As you can see, it's completely blocked out. And that is also why they give you a crafter here at the start. You can use to start crafting. So for example, you would just go over to a tree, get some wood, and then if we grab 2 of these, we should be able to go back to our crafter, just over here. And you can put it in here. Add the logs here and then flick it to grab yourself some planks. So this is the only way to craft at the start of your mine. So you can grab some sticks, there we go, and then you can make a pickaxe. Just like this. And there we go. So that's how you can get different items in your mine. But for the purposes of this video, I'll just go into creative mode, which you can do once in a mine by turning the commands on. And then doing this. This is just to show off what would happen if you actually played this. So what happens is you have this spawning area. You can take the crafter with you and bring it somewhere else. And what you want to do is you want to find the exit of the mine. So you will also notice that the mine looks like the things you put into the original mine ingredients. So we know that there can be sheep, the base rock type is andesite, it's a surface world, it can be creepers, there are surface exits, these are important, and then there's the savanna biomes, cows and frogs can spawn as well. So that is what this mine consists of. So we can just fly around for a bit and we should see a exit at some point. Here we go, there's an exit right over here, it looks something like this. It will have a beacon beam shooting out from the top of it, and that will be your mine exit. Now you will want to bring with you as many blocks as you can, because you will notice that these building blocks and all the other things have a value. And this value is important because it will give you experience when you travel back to your main world. So just to simulate this, I think we should just give ourselves a few dragon eggs, which have a 100 value, which is very high compared to all the others. So if we do that, just give ourselves a few dragon eggs. Let's just do a stack, for example. That means we have a lot of value. So if we do that and go back out into the main hub, which we can do right here, again, that takes 10 seconds, then all of the items we have in our inventory will be converted into XP. Of course, you can get XP normally as well by killing mobs, but this is the way to get more XP. As you can see, XP spawns in from over here. We now see advancement made, it begins, and we're leveling up as well. So all of this XP means that we are leveling up. And if we go back into, so press U, you can go back into this menu right over here where we can add unlocks for our character. So for example, if we want to add crafting, we can do that. We can unlock crafting here. And then we can also add extra inventory slots. That means we can now hold more items. We can make it so that enchanting is cheap, doesn't cost anything. Same thing with the lapis lazuli. And there's like just all kinds of things you can add here by buying these different upgrades, pretty much. So you can also notice that there are some poisonous potatoes in here as well. And that is because they are secret unlocks. So here it says, have you tried crafting yet? It's pretty cool. So you can only unlock this one once you've crafted something. Here you can never have too many crafting tables. You also need to do something to unlock this. And it's the same thing for all of these poisonous potato ones. So yeah, what I just said, you can also add more jumps if you want to jump multiple times after each other. There's all kinds of options here. So you also get your mine, which is an item. That's this one. It says status 1. And you can go over to the memory lane over here and place it in here. And then if you want to go back to that original mine, you can do that if you wanted to. But if you want to go into a new mine, we can do that as well. That's right over here. So now we will notice that we have a new ingredient here, which is floating islands. As you can see, it's currently already highlighted. That means it's already being used. So currently, as you can see here, it uses floating islands, savanna biome, surface exits, base rock type, diorite, and pigs. And you can add one more. But you also have this button up here, which you can use to donate. So use 20 of your experience to work towards upgrading the Minecrafter table, which is what this thing is. So if you do this 3 times, you can see that it upgrades it to level 2. So now you can add 2 different things to this. And you can upgrade it again, then you can add 3 different things, and so on. So every time you upgrade it, you'll be able to add a new ingredient to the table. So what we'll do for now is just add a few things here, just like this. And again, you can unlock more of these by doing these different challenges in your mine. But once you make this second mine, there we go, you can go in. But you will notice that after you go in, you won't be able to go back into creative mode. So we can do that. We can enter the mine. It takes about 10 seconds again. And after we do that, yes, there we go. Here we are in a new world. Now stuff has changed, as you can see. We currently now have a whole lot more inventory space, and we also have a lot of items. That's because of the types of things we unlocked here. So we can also do this, then we can get speed, for example. There's all kinds of different things you can unlock by using these unlock things. So we can get more speed if we wanted to. We can get faster as a fish to swim faster. Speed run, we can go even faster. Get more experience, we can also do that if we wanted to. And this one is very useful. So there's a compass that points to the nearest exit you can get by getting this starter compass. So that is this one over here. This will now always point to the nearest exit in your mine. So that is very useful, especially because now we can't go back into creative mode. As you can see, we no longer have permission to switch our game mode. But luckily, we now have access to crafting in our main inventory. So if we just go over to a tree somewhere, do we have one anywhere close by? Yeah, there's one over here. Ah, there's frogs here as well. Also, you may notice that I've bought the jumps, so I can now actually jump multiple times. There we go. So that is also pretty cool. But if we just go over here and over to this tree, we'll be able to mine a few of them and create a crafting table. There we go. So with... oh, well, we already had a crafting table, I guess. Yeah, there we go. We also got, there we go, a new item here. A new mine ingredient. Bring us into the mine to unlock as a mine ingredient amplified world. And if we craft something, then we will unlock something as well. Because what I just said, over here, it says, have you tried crafting? It's pretty cool. So currently it's locked, but if we craft just anything, doesn't really matter what, just like this, go back in. Now it says 3x3 crafting. No need for a crafting table. This costs 33 levels, and if we do it, then you'll see that we unlocked a 3x3 inventory crafting. And indeed, if we open our inventory, we can now just craft anything here in the regular inventory. And yes, this can be also 3x3 items as well. So we can see that the best probably by doing this and then crafting this. Yes, this works as a 3x3 crafting grid. And of course, there's just a whole bunch of different things you can do with this as well. There's also pets here, for example, so you can unlock pets. This one's just here to annoy you. So currently we don't have a pet. But if we go back and then buy a pet chicken, there we go. There's our pet chicken. Very, very nice. It spawns in with you in your world. And you can have all different kinds of pets. So there's going to be a frog or an axle or a turtle or... well, there's just a whole bunch of options and even more appear here as well. So yeah, there they all are. There's also a massive wolf here. That's the dire wolf. So there's just a whole bunch of options, as you can see right here. Let's see if we can get all of the pets. There we go. Yeah, so many different pets here now. There's also a mini creeper, which is very, very cute. And you can select one as well. So you can see that there's a green highlight over the one you've selected. That's the one that spawns in new worlds. There's also more stuff here. There's just so many different ones. And currently we're actually out of levels. So then we would need to go out in this exit and get more levels. But we know exactly which way we need to go. It's this way. And that would bring us to the mine exit. Of course, when you reach the mine exit, that means that you win the mine. There's also a way to lose a mine, and I will demonstrate that right over here. If you die, there we go. It says accept defeat or title screen. If you press accept defeat, then it says mine failed. There we go. So that means that now we have failed the mine and we could do a new mine. So there we go. There's our second mine. You can see status lost. So you can also bring that over here into your memory lane to get your second mine in here as well. Then there's of course also these doors, which are a bit interesting. And for that I will go into a new world because I can't go back into creative mode. So currently we don't know how to obtain these keys yet. But I can go into a new world and I'll make it creative, which I can't do here. But I can create a new world and then go into creative mode afterwards. So let's do that here. And we'll take a look at some of the new blocks and items that are in here. Let's see. So we can do just this to get into creative mode, of course. And so there's a key. It's called a shimmering key. And this one over here. And it opens these shimmering doors. But as you can see, currently it just says something wrong. And this is probably because we're cheating these in. So that's not really working at the moment. And same thing happens on this side as well. So that is the shimmering key. As I said, there's also the shimmering door, which is just the door that you see here. Same thing, and you cannot open it. And this block over here is actually a sky block. As you can see, it just goes through the other blocks behind it. And the texture itself is also quite nice. It says sky lol. There's also another block that's called the sky box, which is a bit weird, and you also can't place it down. Of course, there is this block, which is the Minecrafter. Very nice name for a block. And this one over here is the mine revisitor, right there. Then I think there's only a few extra blocks and items. There's actually not too many new ones. There's also a new music disc, if I remember correctly. I actually saw that before. So if you just go over here, here are those 3 new blocks that I just talked about, and here are the other 2. And then if you scroll down just a little bit more, there's also this Eye of Exit. This will, instead of an Eye of Ender bringing you over to the end portal, it brings you over to the exit of a mine. So you can also throw that. And then we should see somewhere over here. Yes, there's this film icon. So if we just grab a jukebox, this is actually a music disc, as you can see. Music disc, Tone Deaf Rebellion and Action. So let's listen to it. It's actually quite a nice music disc. And so those are pretty much all the new items here. And yes, it doesn't sound very nice. That's the idea of this music disc. I can turn it up a bit for you so you can hear it better. And there we go. Actually, it sort of works, I guess. We can also go and move farther down memory lane, but as you can see, it just extends infinitely. There's no end to this. Same thing for the top, actually. So you can see this just extends upwards. Yeah, just very, very far upwards. That's actually quite a nice music disc. Not too bad. Yeah, you can also not sleep by default. It's also something you need to unlock with one of these things over here. And yeah, that's, I think, most of it. There's probably a lot more stuff that I haven't covered in this video. Because, yeah, there's just so much. As I said, it's a massive, massive snapshot. I highly, highly recommend it. You try it out for yourself. It's called 25w14craftmine. And just try it out, go through a few mines, see if you can actually make it work. And I think it's a really cool game inside of a game to play. So there we go. That is pretty much it for the April Fool's snapshot. Yes, I'm going to call it the April Fool's snapshot. Also, there's really nothing behind the door. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, then please subscribe!